The Essence of a Pearl. Written by Angelia Richhart, Amber Richhart, Linda Diane Lay. The Lay Family. Illustrated by Angelia Richhart. While every precaution has been taken in the preparation of this book, the publisher assumes no responsibility for errors or omissions, or for damages resulting from the use of the information contained herein. All rights reserved. No part of this publication may be reproduced. The Essence of a Pearl, First Edition. February. Copyright 2022. The Essence of a Pearl, Introduction. A single pearl to a string of pearls always encompasses so much beauty, rarity, and worth to me. Yet they require no cutting and no polishing by man. They are the only gem found and formed within a living creature. They can take up to 4 years to form. Many people tend to overlook the deeper meaning of a single pearl and its true essence and beauty. While a pearl represents integrity, serenity, and loyalty to some, a pearl represents God's wisdom gained through experience and understanding to me. Just like a pearl is formed around a piece of sand over time, so we are molded and formed by how we perceive our life's experiences. If we can learn to grow from our everyday experiences, rather good or bad, and use the opportunities we have to reflect, we would learn the powerful lessons that we could use to change our lives and those around us for the better. We always tend to grow the most when there is pressure on us, and we always tend to need Christ the most when everything is going wrong. But perhaps God is using the circumstances in your life to form a beautiful pearl. Matthew 13:45-46. Again, the kingdom of heaven is like a merchant looking for fine pearls. When he finds one of great value, he went away and sold everything he had and bought it. Jesus Christ gave his life up for you because you are of great worth to him. He bought and paid for all your sins. He loves you more than you will ever know. Love Letters. Eternal Flame. The sweet tender kiss of a love so dearly missed. To the poetic passions of a love not fully expressed. From the heartfelt warmth of a handheld kiss to the unshaken foundation of love's sheer bliss. From a lover's eternal flame to the heartache of a love that was lost, all-consuming dull pain. From being so blissfully young and naive to never understanding why love makes us grieve. From being in an all-consuming love worthwhile to engaging in love's sweet sympathetic smiles. A woman's heart. Golden novas can light up a darkened night sky, just the same as love can lighten up a lonely soul's cry. A golden heart is not meant to rip and tear, just as a woman's heart should be gently handled with care. A love song. I hear the sparrows chirping their sweet spring chimes as I walk through the rose garden that's covered in vines. The sparrows and doves have found their mate and are nesting nearby the garden's gates. I see the sun rising as I look toward the east, feeling the warmth of the sun upon my unsandaled feet. I follow a dirt path that led to the fountains, as I could see in the distance the earth's beautiful array of mountains. Passion. True love is like a flame that burns so bright. It ignites the heart's passion throughout the night. Loving embrace. The moon is at its highest peak tonight, with a shadow light gleaming down, piercing through my window and my silk-laced gown. I was in hopes to find my lover, but he could not be found. But the hint of honeysuckles still lingered all around, as I slowly walked across the floor to latch thy swaying door. I could feel a cool breeze rushing in from the night's ocean's roaring winds. I felt your gentle touch, which made me turn around. As you grasped me with your loving arms, I knew I had been found. Loving kiss. A simple hug and a loving kiss is life's true pleasures and simply bliss. Ever after bliss. From the ocean's loud watery roars To the heartache of a lover so bitterly scorned. From the sweet and tender kiss upon a rosy cheek. To the heartfelt secrets so many of us keep. From the bittersweet locket around one's neck. To the unforgettable memories they'll never forget. From a secret diary with a lock and key. To the memorable moments of love being so free. From your first kiss when you were so young and considerably naive. To your ever-after bliss and your lives being interweaved. Timing of love. So many hearts are lonely. Lost in this life's time. Simply living day by day. And always rushing love's time. A big heart. Having a big heart is good for the soul. Because it brings a wealth of understanding to the once unknown. Destined love. An all-consuming love that's intertwined with fate. Is always on time and it's never late. Our path is pre-written, or so it seems. The only thing we need is love, because it will set you free. One true love. I stare at the glistening stars and moon at night. Under the moonlight's soft forbidden light. Standing on the balcony hidden by night. Hoping you could hold me so very tight. I searched for you, my desire, my dove. You are my one desire, my one true love. I've grown so lonely since you've been gone. My heart wishes it weren't so terribly long. You ignited a flame that melted my heart. That watered my existence from the start. Like the cool drizzling rains of spring. That seep into the earth and always sing. My heart burns brighter than the light of day. With the simple yet romantic words that you say. Lock and key. Life is so short and yet so sweet. Why do we keep our heart's desires under lock and key? Life is a true mystery. I think we all can agree. A beautiful world. You never knew I existed till the day I met you. But you changed my life in so many beautiful ways. I wish I could thank you. You gave me hope in the future, you gave me hope in myself. You made me see all the beauty in the world that I couldn't see myself. Till the end of time. I love the sugar upon your lips. The sweet-smelling taste that I can no longer resist. You placed your lips gently upon mine. As my heart grew weak with love, I'll love you till the end of time. Remembering when. Your lips are like cream so tender and sweet. Like the beauty of a luscious, ripened peach. Your heart brings warmth to my very soul. Although this life has taken so many tolls. Your love is what I thirst for through these darkened days. As I can remember your touch in so many beautiful ways. As I daydream with my loving thoughts. I remember the days when we would just sit and talk. These things I remember that are unrefined. Remind me when our lives had better times. The eye of the beholder. Love is so hard to find. When you're looking for a beautiful mind. Unfailing love. Over the mountains in a summery bliss. I see my true love that I have so dearly missed. Over the years that have slowly gone by. I'm so glad that I had you by my side. Distant memories. When I walk the trail that passes the railroad ties and travel the path under the bridge. I still remember my first love when we were just mere kids. Always laughing and playing tag. If we had only stayed together. Imagine the life we would have had. First kiss. To be young and naive is truly bliss. Especially when you receive your first love's kiss. A true love. The loving rays of dawn's first light. To the cool, darkened breeze of a starry night. With the warmth embrace of a lover's tale. To the first written love letters read upon a secret trail. Love being so beautiful yet so frail. Makes love worthwhile like the Holy Grail. Many will search for it, yet so few will find. A true love that can withstand the test of time. From a lover's embrace to a sensual kiss. True love is worthwhile and is life's true bliss. Essence of love. The sweet aroma of your lingering presence made my heart weak with your sensual essence. I was wanting more, my heartfelt confession. I adorned your love, my secret obsession. Timeless love. True love nourishes the soul and makes love worthwhile. Like couples taking a stroll through life's many miles. For better or worse, they will always be there. Because in your heart, you know they truly care. The warmth of love. Love can warm the heart, the soul and the mind. It can even warm a home if it's given enough time. Endless love. For my heart longs to have you forever in my arms. To not ever knowing how you seduced me with your empathetic charm. From loving your lips to your gradual touch down my lace-covered hips. I will always love you. No matter the distance, no matter the time. No matter how much I miss you. It'll be till the end of time. Soulmate. Love is everlasting like the stars above. I wish I could find my one true love. Love's passion. You're like a sweet perfumic aroma that indulges my senses. With the romantic gestures and words that you say, my beating heart could never stray. I could only hope in this newfound love that I have been blessed with such a treasure of undying love. Consoling moments. Love is always feeling within your heart, mind and soul. It's also always knowing in my heart that you'll be there to console. Fishing in the moonlight. Fishing in the moonlight for life and for love. Fishing in the moonlight with my prayers above. Fishing in the moonlight, my heart can feel your tug. Fishing in the moonlight, I'll never underestimate this love. Love's lessons. People tend to view love as if it always ends in pain. Only if you could open your eyes, you could truly see love. You would find there is so much to be gained. Embracing love. The lonely, saddened tears rolling down one's face. To the uplifting joy of a loved one's embrace. Days pass by as the seasons forever change. Just as the ocean's tides have always been sustained. To the beloved echoes of a loved one's laugh. Always reminds us to never forget our past. To love is to learn, as to live is to love. But we shall never forget our blessings from above. Memories. Down by the seashore on the silvery sand, I walk with my lover hand in hand. As the crisp ocean tides roll upon this ancient land, I can feel the water immerse into the silvery sand, leaving our footprints in the midst of our past, but always remembering what we have always had. A lover's embrace. A lover's embrace with bodies intertwined. A veil made of lace with a meeting of minds. A sweet-smelling taste of a lover of mine. Love is never late. It's a pleasurable find. A love's that's missed. Somehow in the wintry midst, I see my true love that I have so dearly missed. as the snowflakes fall from the darkened night sky. I never want to say goodbye. Life's essence. Rose petal blossoms. Rose petal blossoms in the Garden of Eve, that blanket the floor with their quilt pattern weave, with the sweet alluring fragrance of the daylily blossoms, to the tall enchanted pillars that surround the garden's columns, to the cascading white petals of the beautiful magnolia, who is secretly as beautiful and as sweet as our sky's golden novas, to the sacred sentimental petals of the Delilah, that constantly flow like the rivers of Italia. Golden fields. As I walk through golden fields of wheat and grain, I can hear the birds sing their melodies before the rains. Life is truly beautiful. This life is truly beautiful, yet so many choose not to see. Just like this world's beautiful, majestic, roaring seas. The whispers of the wind's divinity that turns into a breeze, that sweeps across my negligee that no one else can see. Or the beautiful, fulfilling warmth of the sun's glistening rays that bring forth life in the midst of a darkened day. This life is truly beautiful. I hope you don't wait to see all of this world's miracles and to truly be free. Meaning of life. When you grow old and acquired much age, you no longer keep your heart trapped in a cage. You free yourself from all the burdens of this life, because you finally realize the meaning of life. God's hand. The stars in the galaxies placed in the universe by God's hands always tend to fail the understanding of man. We search for all the answers but will never fully understand all the things that were never created by man. We claim we created life in its majestic form, yet we can't reverse death and all its thorns. Truly free. If you know who you are truly free. Just like the flowering blossoms of a sugar orchard's humming bees. Thy blossoms never speak or have deliberate thoughts, yet they know the time is coming for them to produce thy crops. Thy bees are always busy gathering thy nectar of life, and humming with innocence and becoming bearers of new life. These things are truly simple, yet so fascinating to see. If you could only open your eyes, you could truly see. A secret garden. A secret garden with a fruitful essence brings forth beauty and an alluring presence, where time seems to stop and is an eternity long. A sweet aroma of the blossoms sings their gentle song. Blue array. I walked along the seashore on the coolness of dawn's first light. I could see the waves crashing with their grip held so tight within the waters of the ocean's blue array. I could feel the emotions of the ocean as it began a new day, always knowing and always turning tides. It seemed to hold so many secrets you only got to wish you knew in time. Stargazing. The galaxies are so brisk, hidden beyond the night skies. Even though we night gaze hoping to understand life, we are truly so very simple and yet so very small. Entangled in this life's mysteries and stargazing at the night skies in awe. Night of July. Cardinals that fly so effortlessly in the sunlit sky. To the bluebirds that are nesting their eggs in the night of July. From the night owls hooting their sovereign cries, to the brindled feathered hawks that encompass the darkened night skies. From dark till dawn we hear the chirping songs of a world not yet known, that holds its mysteries like a fortune untold. Gift of life. We are interwoven so uniquely and yet so defined in the woman's womb who bore us into this mystical life, never fully understanding the complexities of this life. and always raising the question of why we were given life. The season secrets. The crumbling leaves upon the forest floor. To the sun glistening waves upon the ocean shore. From the snow glistening flakes falling from the sky. To the warmth of a spring day bearing new life. From the warm embracing breezes of a summer's eve. To the colored filled foliage falling from the trees. From the glistening dew resting upon a blade of grass. To the sound of the ocean's roar remembering its past. From the peaks of the highest mountains simmering secrets. To the sandy floor's unkept secrets. Spring. When the first green tender shoots appear. You always know that spring is surely near. For the earth is thirsty to come back to life. Always in the perfect precision of time. From the spring's evening days to the misting rains. Yielding new life in the desert plains. God's heart. When you're down on your luck and you don't think you can make it through. Don't forget to look up because I have never forgotten you. You mean more to me than the stars, the moon, and the trees. So why is it that you have so easily forgotten me? Heartbreaking moments. Thorns and thistles. Thorns and thistles surround my very heart. I grow them there on purpose to protect my beating heart. My heart was shattered into pieces and scattered into the wind. From all the times you left me and broke me over and over again. You pierced my heart with grief as I always wanted more. But you were never there for me, even though you swore. My heart was broken into pieces. But never again, no more. For you were never there for me. And my heart can't take no more. Bend or break. Hardships and trials will everyone meet, the outcome always depends on whether you are strong or weak. For if you are strong, you will overcome many things. But for a weak individual, they usually fail for the words that they say. I can't do it, or I'm never enough. But when you decide to change your mind is when you'll overcome. For strength is a decision you subconsciously make. Will you bend or will you break? A heart meant for love. Her heart was meant for love. She had always intended it that way. She gave it to a man who blindfolded her and pretended he would stay. She never questioned his actions or why he chose to leave. She just accepted the fact that it wasn't meant to be. He brought her to her knees where he thought she couldn't rise. He ripped out her beating heart with all his ruthless lies. He left her in the dark where she would eventually start to cry, but he thought it was a joke because to him there was no plan. For what she didn't know, he would soon be back again. But this time when he came, she was already gone. He couldn't even find the blindfold he had put on. He couldn't understand how she could have possibly left. Until he looked in the mirror and met the man she had met. Reflection. As I stare at my reflection in the glass fog-covered mirror, I remember how my heart is drowned in sad and lonely tears. Mere task. I understand completely why you wore a false mask. It was because you were incomplete and looked at me as no more than a mere task. Loving truth. All the tears you cried gradually flow down your cheeks. Just for 1 second. You felt overwhelmingly weak. You broke down in tears, never letting anyone know. The heartache that you felt came from your very own soul. Perhaps it was from the man you thought you had known. He never said goodbye, he just walked out and left, leaving you in shackles as you continuously wept. You slowly grew stronger as the days seemed to pass, learning who you were and regretting your past. You finally grew up and found the key. knowing that it was the truth that would set you free. Unrequited love. As I stare at a ring and all my dreams that you broke, I realized you were my unrequited love. And a very sad joke. Woman's tears. Fairy tales and bliss upon your sweet tender lips. To sugar-coated lies that led to the heart's demise. These things you remember, yet never truly forget, is one reason why so many women have wept. Mirror image. You mirrored me to make me believe you were the one. But when the mirror broke, your reflection was gone. Illusions. You left my mind in a mystic haze after you seduced me with your delusional games. Unpleasant fruit. The fruit that you bear is unpleasant and unripe. Even though when I first met you, I thought you were my type. When I took the first bite is when I instantly knew. The bitter and sour taste you left on my soul would be hard to remove. Tears. You fed on her tears and broken heart as if this pleased you. You lapped up her salty tears as if a dog laps up water. And you still couldn't quench your thirst. Words we speak. A broken heart seems as if it can't be mended. Just like a sharp tongue can seem so wicked. It's a double-edged sword with the words that we speak. Because some bring life, yet others bring grief. Love versus hate. Love is never hate. Why is it you can't relate? True love's worth. Hopeless romantic is what they tend to say. But is it really hopeless when all they wanted was a love to stay? Through thick and thin. Or for better or worse. Sadly, this world will never cherish true love's worth. Tearful eyes. To find someone true and faithful is truly a hard find. Especially when we live in a day of ages where life brings so many tears to so many eyes. The gray remnant sky. I stare at the silky gray clouds, whose remnants are still attached to the sky, wondering if I'll catch a glimpse of a star shining through the night sky. Never understanding and never knowing why, I let my heart seep into the emotions of the darkened night sky. As I grasp the chain necklace that hung around my neck, I try to wipe away the tears that I have sadly wept. Cold-hearted. When you feel the pain that gnaws at your soul from a past lover who was always so cold, covered in ice and unbearably cold, you realized you were with a man who lacked a soul. Hate and pain. Instead of loving her, you gave her hate and pain. Instead of kissing her, you pushed her away. She cried a tear as it ran down her face. You should have been there to wipe it from her face. Her remorse and sorrow. You hovered her remorse and sorrow, as if it were a delightful delicacy, waiting to be devoured. The past. To live is to love. Yet love feels like death. Why is it when we're old, we always regret our past? Stain-colored glass. The stained-colored glass reminds me of all the emotions I once felt for you. From the haunting memories to the daunting reality that I no longer feel these things for you. They're just sheets of glass stained with the emotions I had once wore, reminding me of all the tears that washed away all these things that ate at my soul's core. Blindfolded love. Your lips spoke so many lies, while your heart still had its previous ties. Even though your lips kissed mine, I could feel your heartbeat for your past only. I just chose not to see, hoping that I could somehow make you relinquish your past. Heartbroken pieces. Brittle and shattered into pieces is how he left you. With no reconsideration, this was not how he found you. Nothing new to you. You always had a circle of hosts that were waiting for you. In the beginning, I never understood why this was so important to you. Until my heart was broken and tore into threads. You tried to tie me with. This is when I realized you were not a one-woman man. But this was nothing new to you. Shadow. Light casts no shadow. There is no dark within. The only thing that casts a shadow are those things with sin. Secret tears. When you come to a home and find it unraveled and unkept, you come to the conclusion there has been secrets and tears that have been wept. Broken. When your heart is weak but your soul is strong. You always wonder how love can go so terribly wrong. When you tried your best but it wasn't enough. Instead of loving you, he craved another woman's love. A man who is full of hate. If a man hates himself, he will hate his life. In the coming days, he will hate his wife. He will become hollow, lacking a heart, full of envy and grief. It will tear them apart. Lost love. My heart feels so lonely because you're no longer here. I do not understand why you were taken, it was my biggest fear. I feel so empty and lonely inside because you're no longer here to hold my hand at times, or wipe the tears from my saddened eyes. I must travel this path without you, which is my biggest fear. You'll always be in my memories, you'll always be in my heart. Even though I feel we are an eternity apart. The railroad's path. I always seem to take the same old path. Past the railroad tracks. Always wondering what could have been. If only I had chosen to stay with him. Memories. As I walk through my memories and realize my past. Some things I'll never understand why they couldn't have last. Pearly. I had a baby girl whose name was Pearly. She wasn't a human child, she was a little Yorkie. She was so dear and sweet, just like a little child. I loved her unconditionally, as she always made me smile. The day I lost her, my heart was ripped in two. For she was my baby girl, and I shall always miss you. Untold truths. Yearning heart. Some hearts yearn for more than this life can truly give. Not the materialistic things, but to truly live. We bridge the gap between our mind and our heart. Never knowing the full distance. This is what sets us apart. There are 3 things that is true about love. It takes all your body, soul, and mind to fully love. Without these 3 things, there's nothing to be gained. For why do you think falling in love always ends in so much pain? Choose love. Love is so simple, yet always free to give. Why do so many people hate each other and refuse to truly live? Lust versus love. Lust is never love. Just a physical expression of his body. If he's in love with your mind, he will become in love with your body. If words fall from his lips that are empty and not whole, do not let him drink or sip the cup of love that you so dearly hold. For if you do and give in too soon, he will become drunken on desire only until the break of dawn. You will go out in search of him. but he will be gone. A shallow mind. A broken heart can't be mended. Like that of a shallow conscience is truly unforgiving. Mystery of our mind. Never understanding the density of our galaxy's time. Just like never understanding the thoughts of a materialistic mind. You could have everything you ever wanted and never be fulfilled. But no one tends to believe this and tends to think it's surreal. True treasure. Everything that glitters is not always gold. Just like the true treasures of life are only found when we are old. Grandfather clock. What is time? But a passing of our momentary moments. We can't help but count our time on the hands of a clock. Wishing it by, even though it never really stops. We wish it by through the hardest of our times. Always asking the question of why? But when we're happy and our life is going great, you never really ponder the question of your fate. Only in the moments you feel weak and alone is when you sit and you ponder, are you really alone? Gift of life. As you grow older, your heart begins to learn. Each day is a gift and to not so endlessly yearn. Speak from the heart. Why are there so many regrets that live in our hearts? When couples first meet, nothing can tear them apart. As time goes by, they slowly drift apart. Perhaps it's from the wedges they created, with the hateful words that they say. As time goes by, everything seems to falls away. Maybe it could have been different. If only they choose loving words to say. Always speak from the heart and not from hate. Life's too short to regret what we say. Cutting words. Words that you'll later regret. Words that you wish never left your lips. For our time here is short. And our words can cut. Never drink from this poisonous cup. Garden of your mind. A farmer sows so many seeds, and if it falls on fertile soil it will grow indeed. Whether it's a beautiful rose or thistles and thorns. What you water with your mind is what your heart adorns. Your perspective. Life is so short yet can be full of life. But many people retort this and choose to believe lies. Human life. People tend to believe humans are the superior beings. So why is it we are yet so naive? People choose to hate rather than love. Yet hate leads to nothing more than a grudge. There are 3 things that can diminish a life. Greed, envy, and hate, they all create strife. For love is so simple and easy to give. It can even replenish a soul's will to live. Faith, hope, love. Faith is always knowing. Love is truly sacred. And hope is a loving promise. Sand in the hourglass. Always make time to enjoy your life. For one day you'll blink and it'll have done passed you by. Like sand in the hourglass passing through. Moments become distant memories. And yet this is true. Gifts of this life. When you finally understand all of life's most precious gifts, you realize how short life truly is. What is your motive? What is a motive but a simple thought of what one plans to do? For the goodwill of a man or the downfall of a man. It's completely up to you. For what one plans and conjures in his conspiring thoughts soon becomes his reality and soon becomes his lot. For what you do to others will always be repaid. So remember these words. It all depends on you and how your actions will be swayed. Wise words from the heart. What are wise words other than just the mere thoughts of man? But when we speak from the heart, man can never understand. A giving heart. People tend to take advantage of a person with a truly giving heart, never expecting them to be all that truly smart. But when you stand your ground is when they'll fall away. But they will always come back, but for you there is not that much to be gained. So do a good deed, for it's a just and upright thing to do. But don't fall in the trap of continuously being used. Lessons. Life is a composition of lessons learned slowly over time. That always seem to rise our factual reasonings of why. Karma. To lie through your teeth is no more than empty words. To cover the truth with filth and regret. Never underestimating yourself till you have no one left. But where a lie is poured out only brings forth illusions and deceit. But the harbinger of lies is the only one usually being deceived. Because the truth always prevails, and I do believe this to be true. For whatever you put forth usually always comes back to you. Will love unfold? Love is never meant for more than two souls. For if a man is with more than one woman, love can never unfold. For if a man is with two women and claims he loves both, this is no more than a lie and a false claim to boast. Life changes. People, places, and things will always seem to change. For life is always in a state of metamorphosis, and so are you. Love is never hate. Love is never hate. This is a truly unfulfilling slate. Compassion and love are always overflowing, but yet so many people are always left unknowing. Like a healing word can heal so many broken hearts. But hate breaks into resentment and tears us all apart. A simple embrace. For a broken promise can lead to the shedding of many tears. But a simple embrace can save you from loneliness and despair. Reflecting thoughts. If you have a pure heart, yet someone always questions your motives or your thoughts, do them a favor and turn your back and walk. Don't even chatter, let alone even talk. For it's useless for you, for they're reflecting their own corrupt thoughts. The test of time. Never be sad, depressed, or lonely, for you are never truly alone. This is just a physical test here, until we all go back home. Men seem to be born to fight and protect, where women are born to nest and reflect. Men tend to fight for their heart's desire, whether it's money, a legacy, or an empire. But when it comes to women, it's usually no more than a sexual desire. For their hearts are weak and their lust is strong. But as for women, this scenario is usually wrong. For a woman tends to love, unconditionally so, and would never lust for another man unless her heart was broken and so. If a woman is not like this and claims she never was, then she is merely scared of the idea of love. For at one time she thought she experienced true love, but come to find out it was no more for him than pure lust. But if you win her heart, what a treasure it is to be found. For she'll never leave your side, and she'll be with you through life's ups and downs. Blossom. A bud blossoms into a flower, and so, friendship blossoms into love. Passion versus obsession. Why do people get so obsessed? To comfort themselves in worldly bliss, or to try to find themselves all over again. With their deepest passions that lie within. But passions are humble and a loving truth. Where obsession will leave you utterly confused. True knowledge. For so many people thirst for worldly things, but never understanding none of these things will ever remain. Legacy. A man's life is his legacy, and so this is known. The fruit of his endeavors will always be shown. When he travels the path of broken hearts and tears he left alone, he will finally come to the realization his legacy was his home. Blessed. Remember how truly blessed you are that you have life indeed. For when we look back on our lives, we realize it was a masterpiece. Like an artist with a brush or a gardener with a seed. You do not wish to rush these things, for one day you'll truly see a seed of change. As the petals fall from the flower's stem, the seeds of change lie within. To make a new start, we must begin again. Actions versus words. When you look at a man's or a woman's actions, and not yet their words, you tend to see the individual's true sense of worth. For words can be hollow, always promising bliss, leading to sorrow and a love that was missed. Worldly thirst. The thirst for empowerment can never be quenched, just like a burning fire that continues to be relit. These things were mentioned years ago, but no one understands the parables that were once told. For if you could control your hunger, you would eventually see that there are many more things like life and love that are more important to reach. The poor man. A poor man is better than a rich man in so many ways. The poor man was poor because he gave all his riches away. A virtue. What is a virtue? A higher truth, a simple understanding? Lesson learned in our youth when we are young and naive. Perhaps it's our destined path we choose no matter what we pretended not to see. But morals in the highest respect and regard to life tend to be a virtue to me. The little things. Some people look for answers to questions that can't be found, instead of appreciating the little things that are so beautifully renowned. Life's mysteries. A seed sown on an open heart produces a long-lasting love that you can't tear apart. From friendship to lovers and friends. Many things on this earth you'll never fully understand. Whispers and chatter in a secret place only produces grudges and ends in hate. From knowing the truth to understanding a lie. There are many mysteries on this earth that you can't deny. From holding a hand to sharing a kiss tends to create a love that leads to bliss. From being so young and to slowly growing old. Many of this life's mysteries are left untold. From being full of folly to becoming very wise. Many of this life's mysteries are only understood in divine time. The truth prevails. The truth is all love, and I tell you this, where hate is no more than deceitfulness. So love the truth and retort a lie. Because all these things seem to work themselves out in time. The truth prevails and a lie will always fail. Trust. Never trust someone who can't trust you. There will always be their lust for others and reoccurring disputes. Helping hand. Many people love to brag about life or their money, homes, cars, and class. But these people in my thoughts will always come last. For there's many people that can't lift a hand to help their mother, daughter, let alone a homeless man. This world is cold and hard to understand, but this life is temporary, try to understand. A loving heart and a giving hand can save so many lives, it's truly in your hands. Gone with the wind. Some people always expect you to be there for them. But when you need them the most, they're gone with the wind. Men and morals. A man with morals has an unfathomable will to stand for the truth, but morals to men with a boy's intellect is no more than empty reasoning. Flawed. If you didn't see a person's physical beauty, yet seen all their flaws, Would you still be interested in them, despite it all? The path. If you could see an individual's path and the life they lived till now, would you still scoff and laugh with your predisposed thoughts, or begin to wonder how? Bleak world. People's hearts and eyes will always grow bleak, especially in a world where there are so many that subconsciously weak. Perspectives on life. When you are so young and naive, life seems like a beautiful mystery. But when you grow old and grieve, life seems like a tragic misery. Forgotten song. Living life in the moment with no regrets makes men and women in their old age reflect. Did I live right? Or did I live wrong? Tends to be their forgotten song. 1,000 miles. If you walked 1,000 miles in someone else's shoes, maybe you could understand the will of their life and the decisions that they choose. Words. Blood is thicker than water, is what they tend to say. But blood can cut deeper, depending on what they say. Assumptions of the mind. Ignorance of a man is always based on his assumptions. So never assume anything. Otherwise, your assumptions could consume you. Lost in time. Some hearts are lost in time, this is true for so many. Dwelling in the past, living in the present time. This is so true for so many. Family. Family is like a chain that can never be broken. We are all interlocking in this life. Mother's love. A mother's love is so pure and kind, she'll love you forever and all of time. Her heart is golden and she'll hold you tight. She'll always teach her children what is wrong and what is right. Upright father. A father stands so tall and strong, always knowing right from wrong. He teaches his children his morals and the truth. The same golden rules he learned in his youth. A sister's love. A sister's love is so unique, and in so many ways she makes you feel complete. With their silly jokes or heartwarming stories. A sister's love is like a beautiful journey. She'll even tell you a few confessions, but at the end of the day, she is one of your biggest blessings. A healing heart. Photographs. A lot of people's stories are always left untold, but maybe it's because this world has grown so very cold. To know these people's stories is to know their beating heart. To know these people's stories is to know their very thoughts. To know the story behind the photo is sometimes left untold. But there is so many stories that I wish I could unfold. Shoulder to lean on. A brother's shoulder is to lean on through life's many trials. They never show weakness through life's many miles. Always there to comfort your heart, a sister and a brother can never be torn apart. Life's reflections. A bitter person reflects on the dark side of life, no one ever knowing their true reason why. They tend to hoard grudges. Perhaps because they learned life's mysteries a little too late, because nothing here lasts forever and nor is it truly ever yours. You're just borrowing time, however a bitter heart endures. But if you were to appreciate the things that come with life, perhaps you would understand all these things heal in time. Life is delicate. Some people believe that love can set their lives free. Where others tend to believe, why are all these things happening to me? Our lives are confusing, yet so beautiful to me. When you think of the simplicity of our emotions, and how deep they truly run, you realize how delicate our lives and emotions truly are. Pages of life. If your life was like the pages of an already written book, would you ever go back and rewrite some of your pen ink strokes? Place your trust in him. People tend to lack emotions in this ever-so-growing cold world. They become bitter with grief and dismay at their sad and lonely broken hearts. People in this world will always cause you pain, but if you place your trust in the Lord, your life will be regained. Love life. So I'll remind you, don't forget to love your life, because you are only blessed with one. It is so much better to spend your days in appreciation than dissatisfaction. So no matter how many trials and heartaches you've had, just remember this life is too short to stay sad. God's hands. When you tend to look at the patterns and lines embedded in your hands, you seem to get a glimpse of this life and understand it's in God's hands. Bend or break. Hardships and trials will everyone meet. The outcome always depends on whether you are strong or weak. For if you are strong, you will overcome many things. But for a weak individual, they usually fail for the words that they say. I can't do it, or I'm never enough. But when you decide to change your mind is when you'll overcome. For strength is a decision you subconsciously make. Will you bend or will you break? Love's lessons. Love is never hate, nor do these two things ever collide. For if it were ever true love, we speak of hate could never reside. Hate is not even the opposite of love, for this I believe is a fact. For the absence of love grows grief, but our hearts are still intact. Starting over. Some people try to know the future, and only time can tell. They have so many wishes and hopes for their life to be swell. But if you want to know the future, look inside your heart. For God is the one who will determine where you should make a new start. A simple message. As the leaves in the trees blow so effortlessly in the wind, so our lives will always unfold in a direction not known by man. For our path in life is one step at a time, slowly going through the motions as it slowly passes us by. For our dreams and our hopes are only truly known by God, just as He's the only one who truly knows our hearts. For us to find ourselves and the true meaning of life, this can only be accomplished when we hold on to the divine. For when our hearts decide to listen, there's so much to be gained. But sometimes this simple message is a lifetime away. So when you hear His voice and the softening of your heart, never turn away, because this is where your life will truly start. The man who saves the lost. There was a man who was crucified on a cross. His only reason for coming was to save the lost. His hands and feet were pierced with sinful nails. He went through this suffering to save you from hell. He paid the price in full to free you from your bonds. His heart is fully open, if you receive Him with open arms. It's never too late to start over. Just give your life to Him. His love endures forever, and He saved you from your sins. Amen. Dedication. This book is dedicated to all our family, friends, and everyone we hold dear to our heart, but mostly this book is dedicated to our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. About the authors. Linda Diane Lay, Angelia Richhart, and Amber Richhart are poets, writers, and authors of multiple great books. They reside in Indiana and have a love for poetry and the arts. They have written an inspirational book named Divinely Guided, which surrounds and entails the subjects of faith, love, hope, peace, and joy. While this book offers an inspirational message of love and acceptance through Jesus Christ, this book is based on Christianity and love. It is a good read for anyone wanting to learn more about Christianity and to deepen their faith and strengthen their relationship with Christ. They have also written 3 poetic books that are anthologies, which are collections of poems from each author compiled together in one beautiful work, such as The Sugar Orchard, Poetic Colors, and The Essence of a Pearl. These books dive deep into the depths of femininity and emotions that women feel through life, such as love, joy, and bliss, as well as exploring the sad poetic symphonies of pain, grief, and loss. These 3 books have words that will touch your heart and soul, as well as words of wisdom, heartache, love, and grief that we have all felt through our lives, with beautifully drawn images to separate each unique chapter. The words they use reflect such deep emotions that you will have cried the tears they've cried, and shared the joy and feel as if you have encountered these life experiences yourself. Linda Diane Lay, Angelia Richhart, and Amber Richhart use such passion and poetic expression when they write that the pages are engulfed in raw emotions. Anyone who reads their words from any of their poetic books can always relate to the emotions that they too have felt.